Now, Oxfam has launched its 12 Days of Giving appeal to help Syrian refugee families in Jordan and Lebanon as they suffer the very harsh conditions of winter in that region. Oxfam is hoping to raise £1 million at least for its emergency response. It says many people are still wearing the thin summer clothes that they brought with them from Syria. British government today said that it would match all public donations to the Oxfam appeal. Last month, the actress Michelle Dockery, best known for her part in Downton Abbey, visited refugees in Jordan, and she launched the Oxfam appeal today. I'm delighted to say she's in the studio with me to talk about it. Thanks so much for coming in, Michelle.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Let's talk first of all about the visit you made recently. I think it was your first as an Oxfam ambassador, is that right?
Yes.
How was it?
Yes, it was, I mean, really heartbreaking to see in person what the Syrian refugees are going through. I think there's only so much that you can really take in by images seen in the media. I guess before I got involved with Oxfam in this particular appeal, I felt a little ignorant really to what is really going on in Jordan and Lebanon for Syrian refugees.
What struck you about the scale of the problem and the plight of families, including, of course, lots of young children?
Yeah, the children are, I think, the biggest worry for most families because there is a lack of so much for them. I mean, Oxfam are doing as much as they can to provide sanitation, but as the winter is drawing in, so many of the children I saw there, having fevers and coughs that will, of course, escalate as the winter goes on, and the conditions are quite dangerous. More so in the informal settlements outside of outside Amman. It's a very dangerous environment for the children.
How did they strike? I mean, we see reports quite often from some of these camps, and some of my colleagues have been there recently. It's trying to maintain some kind of semblance of, well, not normal life, but attending lessons, for example, getting a routine going. Yeah. And yet, Oxfam saying today, and you can tell me more about this, some of the most basic needs are not being met. So we're talking, for example, about winter clothing. They need that.
And this is what the appeal is for, really. We're hoping to raise money to provide blankets for families, gas stoves for the winter. It's really the basics is what is needed at the moment. I mean, the scale of the problem is immense, so it's really that the main focus is now, and that the winter is. I mean, people have this kind of, I guess, this feeling that the Middle East is always warm, and even when I was there a month ago, as the night was drawing in, it was really chilly. So you can imagine how cold it's going to get, and there's the mattresses are this thick.
And they're intense,
so it really is the main focus of this appeal.
Sorry to interrupt. How did you get involved with Oxfam in the first place? How did that relationship start?
I have a friend, Claire, who works with Oxfam, and we've been talking about the Syria crisis for a while. And as I was saying, I found myself wanting to know more. And this happens to be my first trip really with the charity. And it was an amazing opportunity for me, to see it firsthand. But one thing that I'd like to get across is that the people that I met there are, I was so honoured to meet the families that I met, and so many of them are just, not very different to my family, and they all had, homes, warm homes to live in. Their children had good education. They were businessmen, farmers, doctors, and just imagine that being just taken away from you and literally running with the clothes on their back.
Just looking at some of these, there are some, there are nice images of kids painting, and there we are, we've seen you on the visit there. Just think it must be a very tough thing as well for someone like you to, you go in there, you meet these people, you form relationships over a short period of time, and then you're out of there again, and it's a very surreal experience then to be back in the UK thinking of them there.
Yeah, actually the hardest thing is coming home. You realise that you take so much for granted, having a warm home and I mean, and really what it came down to, I think, what I, felt there is that sense of, family really, and the friends that they've made within Zatari is all they have at the moment. Yeah, it really opened my eyes. This actually, what's being shown are activities that Oxfam have set up for children to keep them occupied. It's also a sort of therapy for the children, to paint their memories of Syria.
Do they, I mean, to the extent that you could talk to some of them, do they talk about their homes? Do they talk about going home? What do they say?
Well, I mean, they remain hopeful, but it's when they got most, the most heartbroken, I think, was when, when I asked them questions about their homes in Syria. That's when many of them broke down, talking about, one family, a mother and her children, Hani, she talked about the house that her and her husband had spent their lives building for years. They had lemon trees growing in the garden, and it's, they left with the clothes on their back, having had their home completely obliterated.
I suppose one of the things, I mean, viewers will want me to say this is all about a positive use of celebrity. You know, you're such a well-known actress now, a face on our screens, and maybe I'll just run a clip of of Downton, just to underline the point that what you're doing is using your profile to benefit Oxfam and to raise money for them too. So let's just have a look at this. Well, it's nice to see that, Michelle. And just, I know that viewers will want me to say, what are we looking forward to then? What are you going to be doing at Christmas time? What are we going to be seeing from Downton at Christmas time?
Well, the Christmas special is a really special episode.
You would say that.
It's really quite an extravagant episode. So I really hope people will enjoy it, and I'll be watching it with my family. But I really implore people to take a moment to think of the refugees in Syria, in Jordan, because I know that's what I'll be doing as I watch on Christmas Day.
Well, that's a good reminder as well. So, Michelle, great pleasure to see you. Thank you very much for coming in. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's 3 minutes to 6, and Jay is waiting patiently to tell us about the weather. Hi, Jay.
Thanks, Hugh. Good evening. Well, it's been pretty grey again today across most parts of the United Kingdom.